two leaders are engaging in high-stakes diplomacy on multiple fronts as of today. U.S. President Donald Trump is on a three-nation tour of the Middle East, meeting with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Qatari's Emir Sheikh Tamim Al Thani to strengthen economic ties and regional security. Meanwhile, direct talks between Ukraine and Russia are underway in Turkey. Although neither Trump nor Russian President Vladimir Putin will attend, Putin proposed the talks without any preconditions. But Russia will be represented by presidential advisor Vladimir Medinsky and Deputy Defense Minister Alexander Fomin. Trump's schedule remains packed, but he expressed openness to attending the Ukraine talks if it could save lives. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Morocco is battling a severe measles outbreak with thousands of cases reported across the country. I am Oyin Okbala with the flash news of today. Right after the break, we'll delve into the full report. President Donald Trump has embarked on a three-nation tour of the Middle East, visiting Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. During this trip, Trump met with key leaders, including Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim Al Thani to discuss strengthening economic ties and regional security. In what seems to be a joyous welcome celebration, he was thrilled by these dance. Let's take a look. Still in this significant development, Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sahari in Saudi Arabia, marking the first meeting between the two leaders in 25 years. Trump announced plans to lift sanctions on Syria, citing the potential for peace and stability in Syria. This move comes after Trump's administration expressed support for a new government in Syria, with Trump stating that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan urged him to pursue rapprochement with Syria. During his visit to Qatar, Trump witnessed the signing of a massive deal between Qatar Airways and Boeing, with the airline purchasing up to 210 planes worth billions of dollars. The U.S. also announced significant deals with Qatar, including a $1 billion defense agreement and a $2 billion contract for unmanned aerial vehicles. These agreements highlight the strengthening economic partnership between the U.S. and, of course, Qatar. Trump's visit to the Middle East has been marked by a shift in the U.S. foreign policy, with a focus on diplomacy and cooperation. The president has expressed a willingness to engage with countries in the region, including Iran, to address pressing issues like nuclear proliferation. At the Gulf Cooperation Council Summit, Mohammed bin Salman advocated for a conclusion to the Gaza war, aligning with the Arab Peace Initiative's goals. The response to Trump's visit has been mixed, with some praising the diplomatic efforts and others raising concerns about potential businesses, dealings, and also ethics. So the decision to lift sanctions on Syria has been met with both optimism, skepticism as well, with some Syrians expressing hope for improved economic conditions. What we gathered so far in this trip, in a bit of a summary, in economic agreements, the U.S. secured deals worth over $280 billion with Saudi Arabia and $243 billion with Qatar. Trump plans to lift sanctions on Syria to promote peace and stability. Trump's administration is engaging with countries in the region, including Iran, to address key issues and also in Gulf cooperation. So the summit emphasized that the need for sustainable solutions to the Palestinian cause, of course. Now let's take a walk to the Ukraine, where Ukraine-Russia talks is ongoing and Putin and Trump seems to skip meetings. Direct talks between Ukraine and Russia are underway in Turkey, but both Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump will not attend. Putin proposed a talk suggesting a meeting without any preconditions, but the Kremlin's delegation list doesn't include him. Instead, Russia will be represented by Presidential Advisor Vladimir Medinsky and Deputy Defense Minister Alexander Fomin. The war between Ukraine and Russia has resulted in tens of thousands of deaths and widespread destruction since February 2022. Ukraine seeks to regain occupied territories, while Russia aims to maintain control. Direct talks between negotiators from Ukraine and Russia last took place in Istanbul in March 2022. So what are the key developments so far? Let's start with the Russian delegation. Experienced technocrats, including Medinsky and Fomin, will lead the Russian delegation. They participated in the last set of negotiations between the two sides in the first week of the war. What is the U.S. involvement so far? Trump, on a three-nation tour currently of the Middle East, would attend. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will represent the U.S., meeting with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha to discuss peace visions and coordinate positions. Ukraine stands so far. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, had challenged Putin to attend the talks, saying Ukraine would decide its next steps based on Putin's participation. Zelensky backs a 30-day ceasefire, while Putin wants to discuss ceasefire details first. And so a potential 30-day ceasefire could pause Europe's biggest land war since World War II. Discussions might include a large-scale prisoner of war exchange. The U.S. may impose secondary sanctions on Russia if progress stalls, with officials trying to explore financial sanctions and restrictions on Russian oil bars. All right, let's head to Morocco, where Morocco is grappling with its worst measles outbreaks in years. With a staggering 25,000 suspected cases and 184 reported deaths since late 2023, the outbreak, which originated in the South Masar region, has spread to all 12 regions of the country, affecting thousands. The epidemiological breakdown is what I would give to you next, where over 25,000 suspected measles cases have been reported, with 13,706 laboratory confirmed cases. At least 184 people have died, which is sad, with most fatalities occurring among children under 5 and older adults as well. All 12 areas of Morocco have reported these cases with varying degrees of transmission. Children under 18 account for nearly 70% of reported cases, highlighting the need for increased vaccination efforts amongst these demographics. Morocco's health ministry has launched a nationwide vaccination campaign targeting all children and encouraging adults to get immunized. The campaign, extended until March 28, 2025, aims to ensure everyone can access essential vaccines. Over 10 million children's vaccination status have been verified so far, with support from schools, religious institutions, and community leaders. But unlike other African countries, vaccination campaign has been in progress, and reports confirms that it's been massive as well. So reports gathered says that over 10 million children vaccination status have been verified. The immunization status verification rate reached 98.45% as of April 25th, 2025, with a total of 10.74 million children whose status has been verified. Morocco has reported coverage with 2 doses of measles containing vaccine above the 95% threshold required to achieve the elimination goal. However, this threshold was not achieved in the last 3 years. The World Health Organization has assessed the risks as moderate at the national and the regional levels as well, citing the risks of cross-border transmission in areas with low vaccine coverage. The WHO recommends maintaining sustained homogeneous coverage of at least 75% with both the first and second doses of measles containing vaccine to achieve and sustain population immunity. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has recommended that international travelers visiting Morocco be fully vaccinated against measles with measles, mumps, and the rubella, the MMR vaccine, including an early dose for infants aged 6 to 11 months. While a declining trend in case numbers has been observed for 10 consecutive weeks, new infections continues, especially in border regions. Authorities are urging patients to vaccinate their children and remain vigilant as the fight against measles continues. And that's all we can give you today on the Flash News. Remember, at the top of the hour, 8 p.m., we'll be bringing you reports coming from Amazonia, the home front precisely. Until then, do well to have a beautiful day.